Ready to have some fun? Let's do it.
Be honest, I'm a nature freak.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. All kinds of happy little things going on. And if it doesn't make you happy, you're doing the wrong thing.
I feel like we could do some vocal warm-ups.
Vocal warm-ups?
Yeah.
Like in theater.
Mow.
Red leather. What is it? Yes. Wait.
Not that.
Red leather, yellow leather. Is that just it?
I remember, you would probably know this one, Caleb. My mom made me mash my M&Ms. Remember that one?
Nope. Don't know.
I'm trying to think of another one I know.
Sally.
Yeah.
Sally sells seashells
Shells at
by
the
the seashore.
Then there's Unique New York. Unique.
Oh,
New
yeah.
York.
Unique.
I remember
That one's
one.
hard for me.
You know what I remember for guitar
Yeah.
strings? Every acid dealer gets busted eventually.
That's
That's
cool.
a good
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
lessons
Yeah.
being taught in that.
You're welcome, kids.
He was actually during Caleb was doing like youth, the worship and stuff like that. And one of the youth students came down to like do worship with him. And he actually said that to her to help her try to memorize stuff. I was like, sweet. I like it.
You want to know how bad my memory is? I completely forget that whole thing happens. I don't even remember
It's just every
that.
day for Caleb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Her mom
Yep.
was there too.
Every day.
Yeah, her mom was right there. I was like, cool, sweet. Mine was Eddie A. Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie.
Well, why didn't you suggest that one?
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable. Created a moment.
I forgot that her mom was even. Well, I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all kind of the creative way. I think it's Every Good Boy Does Fine.
Yeah, I've heard that one. I don't play music, but I've definitely heard that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the first instrument you ever played?
Recorder.
Yeah.
Violin. Yeah, the
Yeah.
violin.
Really? That was the first one?
That was the first one.
That's awesome. Yeah, mine was recorder.
Recorder?
Yep.
My first and last was recorder.
Hot cross buns. I think I could still probably play hot cross buns off the dome.
You know, I feel like a recorder transitions into a kazoo pretty well, and I feel like if
What's
we
a
got-
kazoo?
It's like a. It's like that thing.
Yeah, it's like
That's the only
basically
noise it makes.
it's like a different version of a harmonica in a way. It's like a one-note harmonica.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a I
I'm
don't
gonna look it
know.
up. I need
There's
to see
probably
it.
kazoo players that would get upset.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I would
for
say
sure.
it's a less
How do you spell that?
talented harmonica.
Is it a K or Z?
Wait, what do you mean?
Kazoo.
It's a K, I'm pretty sure.
Kazoo.
That's what I thought. Kazoo.
Kazoo.
I need to see
Sorry.
it. You should burp.
Yeah, I'm really burpy today. I don't really know why.
That's one of those like that.
Yep.
Let me see.
How is that? So
Yeah.
you're saying like recorder's a gateway to a kazoo?
I
Yeah.
think so. I think it's a
How,
good.
you can actually play like music off a
I feel
kazoo.
like
Yeah,
a
you
lot
can.
of adults
Can you
don't
really?
play. Well, yeah.
Depending how you blow
Because
into
it's like
it.
it's like a hum and a zing mixed with it. So it's like if you hum a melody and then are still blowing, it's like it like makes the noise. We're gonna have to bring in this kazoo sometime.
Yeah, for real. That
No,
was
just
fun.
go on Jar Kids. They had them a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
See, but that's how I think about them. It's like it's just kids, just noisemakers. It's not like musical.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think,
kazoo players.
You know, something I think about from time to time is like everybody growing up had like a different snack that their parents gave them, and I think that became like normal for them. But like the parents are the one that gave them the snack,
Yeah.
so it's really like what their parents' preference were. Like, did you guys ever have any snacks that were like, this was my snack growing up?
Ooh, that's a really
We always just had like Hostess stuff, so we had like Twinkies and Ding Dongs and the Swiss rolls and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so now I don't even like those things because I had so many growing up.
yeah. That was actually what I had too. The little Debbie stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was all like sweet stuff.
Yep. Star Crunch. Bring it
Then we had
back.
those cosmic brownies, of
Yeah.
course.
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that your favorite, like Cosmic Brownies and
The Star Crunch was my
Star
favorite.
Crunch?
Zebra cakes.
Those are
probably my favorite.
The worst. Those are the worst ones actually.
You don't like the
no.
taste of zebra
Nope,
cakes?
not at all. I don't think they're very good. I don't like what are they called? What are those freaking things called?
Ho-hos?
No,
I like those.
dude, Twinkies.
Oh, I don't like Twinkies.
Well, those are basic zebra
Are you
cakes.
kidding me?
Uh-uh,
You
they're
guys
not the
don't like
same.
Twinkies?
I mean, there's no, it's not really that
What
great.
an un-American thing to say.
They're okay.
Go back to Canada.
They're just
guys.
too like spongy for my liking. I'm
Yeah.
a big texture person,
You know what's-
so
I think you'll probably live longer if you don't eat.
You just said something that just made me think. So
Yeah.
I had friends of mine had a foreign exchange student who was from Sweden, and like over there, it was like she got so stoked being here in America because she could eat Skittles because like they couldn't have
wow.
Skittles over there. Like it was like government regulated that you couldn't have food like that over there.
I have heard that.
that's
Yeah.
insane.
That like in Europe,
Yeah.
it's like E85, the chemical that they put in.
I have no
Skittles.
idea. Yeah, I don't know. But
Weird facts that I know. But yeah, it's like the,
Red 40, the dye, that stuff is like bad
there's
for
a
you.
number in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I say? E85.
No, it's a gas. You're
well,
just
I'm sure that's something too.
gas.
Yeah, but
Yeah, just
seriously,
straight
the-
up from the gas pump.
Yeah, like the dye. I think that they put in
Yeah,
Skittles.
red
they're
40
like-
is actually, I think it's like really bad for you. Like it's actually not good. Oh, I just thought of this made me think of something else. Did you know that the taste of, it's like the artificial raspberry taste, like in like syrups and stuff like that, comes from like beaver, like butt glands? For real. Look that up, please, to check it. But I'm
What?
dead or maybe it's vanilla, like artificial vanilla. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Do you think that that's keto friendly?
I don't know, probably.
We'll be right
Yeah,
back.
I was about to say. Watch me be totally wrong. It is, right? Yeah, read it.
Interesting.
Read it.
So, okay. It's castoreum is actually a bitter, strong-smelling, creamy orange substance from beaver butt glands
Creamy.
The fact that they said
and
creamy.
enhance the flavor of raspberry candies.
Raspberry. Yeah.
I don't like that that's a descriptor of
Yeah,
of
creamy's
the
not good.
Beaver butt glands is creamy.
Creamy.
That's a rough one.
Well, I think I know that because Dairy Dream, Spot in Albany, shout out, was like I always got raspberry fudge chunk, and it was like, raspberry syrup in it. I was like, I cannot do this anymore with the good
And it's in some chewing gums, it
Yeah,
says.
dude.
Yeah.
Also, like Starburst and stuff like that. The chewiness in Starburst is actually like beetles. Like it's legit, like bug extracts.
Ugh.
Look it up.
Yeah, interesting.
It's really weird.
Do you still eat Starburst?
I
No,
didn't eat them much in the first place. More of a chocolate guy when I'm going for sweets. But
Yeah. So
yeah.
so
I
what,
still
what
would.
is it? Raspberry fudge chunk is what you get?
I still,
And that's what
sometimes
the-
I still hit it up, but
Just have to not think about that.
yeah.
Is it a bad thing if you don't care about that? Like if you don't care about the beaver butt funk?
There's something there. There's something there.
Something-
If
do you still think about it when you eat it?
No, I'll intentionally not think about it. I haven't thought about that for a while, actually. That just popped back into my brain. I've thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, I try to not think about it to enjoy
Yeah.
the food.
Yeah.
You know, like if I think
Yeah.
about like certain meat from certain places, like Taco Bell or something, it ruins the experience.
Yeah.
But I like enjoying the
Actually,
experience.
Taco Bell, so
I heard it was
even
horse meat.
no, it's just like really cheap meat, but they're actually doing like a favor to like help. Oh, what like movement is it? It's like whatever movement to like stop like mass. Basically, what the vegans are for. I don't know what movement that is, but like by Taco Bell using cheap meat, it's like supporting that cause because they're instead of paying a ton of money for these cows to go be in these farms and stuff, they're just buying cheap meat from wherever they're getting it from.
Interesting.
And it's like more, I guess, moral. I guess
Okay.
so. Like,
That's cool.
people are like for Taco Bell right now.
Yeah.
Like vegans are for Taco Bell.
Yeah,
That's good.
Really?
Good to know.
yeah.
They have actually, Taco Bell has some really good, like their black bean, like you can replace any
Yeah.
item with like black beans or potatoes. Pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
But, dude, have you guys heard about like lab grown meat and stuff?
Yeah.
Is
What
that,
do you mean?
Like literally, like isn't it Bill Gates is doing it? I think?
Probably.
Probably Bill Gates.
Oh.
But it's literally like meat that is being grown in a lab, like through like some sort of I don't know, maybe 3D printing or something like that. I don't know. It's really weird.
Do you guys ever eat any of that, like the Impossible Burgers or whatever?
Is that what that is? No.
think- yeah,
No.
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 No,
Impossible
Impossible Burgers is made out of like vegetables and
stuff, right?
stuff.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
not what you're talking about?
No, like it's actual meat, like real meat, but it's grown in a lab.
Oh, that's
so,
sketchy.
So
That's
scientists
sketchy.
will use a cow's stem cells as the building blocks to begin the process of creating the cultured meat, is what it says.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
it's
have to
not
pray
good.
about that.
No,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like it's not good. I feel like that's not. Yeah, it shouldn't be done. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a weird.
It's a big. I remember in school, weird stuff happens in labs, dude. I remember in school, literally watching a video where they were taking stem cells and growing like an ear off of a rat's back. Ugh.
Yeah.
Terrible. That's so weird. So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Bill Gates is like a cool dude to hang out with? You think he's like a cool guy?
No,
No?
he's probably boring.
He's a nerd. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
loser.
Nerd.
Well, he's
Nice.
old,
Gee, that was
isn't
pretty
he?
quick. Yep.
I think about it a lot.
So I heard nerd and old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
let's
also, fun fact, he owns a lot of farm ground, and his farms actually they give most of the potatoes for like French fries for McDonald's and stuff. So
see. That's cool.
is
Yeah.
it? I don't know. I don't know if it is cool.
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
I also heard I mean, not to really just roast Bill, but
Yeah, I could never be a Bill Gates. Obviously, just
No.
I don't have what it takes to be a Bill Gates.
would you consider yourself really good with technology? I know, Josie, like you probably are well above us, but what would you say?
I just feel like I'm average. Like I feel like I'm just at par with my age. Like my brother's really good at technology, much better than me. Like he built his own PC. He does like everything on his computer on his own. He's really smart. I think about just like other people who I went to school with. A lot of people for film, you can either do a Bachelor of Arts or science degree. Arts, you're just doing all the film, obviously, film stuff. But if you do science, you take like coding classes because a lot of film students are really good with like coding and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like not at that level. I'm just more, I feel like, on the creative side of that. So
Yeah.
I think I'm just like average with technology. But
Really?
for my age group, like when I think of like Gen Z kids, I just feel like we grew up with technology. Like I might not have had a smartphone as a kid, like kids now, but I had a smartphone by the time I was like 16.
Yeah, man, that makes me think. I checked out like Chat GPT for the first time just because I was just
sick,
curious
right?
about it, and I don't know why I went down like a wormhole or a rabbit hole, not a wormhole or whatever. But like I asked it to write a stand-up sketch because I was like, I don't know, I just felt like that was something, and it legit made like a full stand-up like skit. I was like, this is crazy. Like it's wild how it does stuff like that.
So I like that brings so many questions to my mind. How do you know if something is Chat GPT? Like, that's the question I have. It's like with stand-up comedy or with movies or scripts or whatever. It's like, how do you know what is what?
Right now, there's still a line of what is like seemingly artificial and like not touched by a human versus like touched. Like, I feel like when you read something from ChatGPT, you can just tell it hasn't had like a personalized touch to it. It's like just very bland. There's no like human experience like involved with it. But when they are able to put that in AI, that's when we're going to be in trouble. But like for right now, people can use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Like I use ChatGPT all the time because it helps me like brainstorm ideas, write scripts and stuff.
Yeah, you can
just change
songs,
it.
full songs with it, and
So I think a real question is like, do you think that AI is a good thing then? Like,
Here we go.
I
What
think
do you
it's
think?
one of those
I've been waiting
things.
for this to go here.
Well, it's like everything like in the world basically. It can be used for good or it can be used for bad. Like it's just a tool. It's whoever's using it that's the good or bad.
Do you think that, dude, I'm stoked. Do you think technology will ever like take over? Like, do you think it has the ability to? No, you don't think so?
No, the world's gonna end before that happens.
What if that's how the world ends, though?
I feel like that doesn't follow what we read in the Bible.
The Bible doesn't say. I mean, it does. It says things about like how there'll be complete destruction and stuff like that, and people will be.
I think
World of the Worlds.
I think we're getting to a good point though here. I guess because I feel like I look at your eyes, Josie, and like you have a certain way you think the world will end.
Yeah.
And so I'd like
Are you
to
Bill
hear,
Gates?
No. Yes.
I would like to hear like
Takes off.
how do you
I would have gotten away with it too. Stupid dude.
For you, stupid kids.
how do you think the world will end? Not with AI.
I don't think so. I don't think with AI. I just don't. Even though technology is advancing so fast, like I just don't think we're gonna be at a point where we have like technology basically as people. I think we're gonna use it for so many things, and it's gonna solve so many problems, and it's gonna make us more fat. Whatever. I think we might end up like
the Wall-E thing.
Wall-E. Like it's gonna be more like Wall-E, where it's like they're just doing stuff for us. Now, eventually, like I said, we might be able to develop some way for it to have like emotional intelligence and
Right.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just gonna. I don't know. Every time we have natural disasters, it seems like there's more and more natural disasters. I feel like there'll be just like disaster after disaster after disaster.
Yeah.
There'll be like just world division, which we already basically have.
Yeah.
And just everything will just continue to escalate, and then the world will just like end. I'll be
Yeah.
like, all of a sudden, I'll wake up. I'll be like, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
Sick. That's nice.
I've always thought that like COVID was the whole couple of years that we had COVID was a good precursor for the end of the world.
Really?
Apparently, toilet paper will be the first thing to be
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But
I guess so.
have you guys seen like Planet of the Apes at all?
I haven't. I want to really bad, actually. I've been thinking about watching it lately.
Well, there's like a disease that like takes out most of the human population. Like this, like the apes are unaffected or whatever. But I think that that's pretty interesting. Like just in regards of like, okay, what would happen in an apocalyptic scenario? But I try to be pretty optimistic about like the whole AI stuff. I don't try to think like, oh, it's going to take us over. But I've seen Terminator too many times.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just too skeptical. Like I think it's it's like what do they say that like what do they call that, like a double-edged sword or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But what you said, Josie, I agree with you. It's like I've always felt like if something can love, then it can fight. You know what I mean? It's like if something can feel emotions enough to love for something, then they're willing to fight. And so I think if there's an AI that like gets to a point where it can love someone or love something,
Or the thing about it is it won't be able to have the ability to love itself, to have that emotion, but it can copy the emotion of love in such a way that it like almost seems exactly like that, right? Because that's exactly what AI is. It doesn't have, like, if you ask it philosophical questions, it's pulling from other philosophical thoughts and it'll respond to you. Then it's not having its own philosophical thinking, but it's like pulling from a pool of actual philosophical thoughts, and so it can mimic.
That's what I mean. Yeah, by recognizing, once it recognizes like that emotional, like once it can like read your face and know how you're feeling, like human does, you know.
It's probably close to that. I mean, we all open
Some
our
things
iPhones
are,
with
yeah.
our face, so it's there. It recognizes your face.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it will, like the end of the world would kind of come? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I think that, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think in scripture it talks about how things will become so advanced, like people will be so far than things will be so, I don't know. I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and they were talking about the Tower of Babel, and we were discussing that with technology and everything. And technology, like, can become this thing where we're almost like rebuilding the Tower of Babel right now, because we're all like speaking the same language again through like technology.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. So I thought that was super interesting. And then obviously you start getting to the point where technology becomes so like, it becomes so great that if you don't get, I don't know, this is where it gets weird, but like the mark of the beast, like if you don't do that, you can't participate in certain things with technology, or maybe like ways to purchase food and whatnot. But I sound like a nut right now.
Yeah,
but,
like the things in your hand where you scan to like shop.
Yeah.
I have like a whole theory about it, but I just feel like I wig too many people out of it.
Dude, do it, please.
Yeah.
Come in here with me. Jump in. The water's fine.
Yeah, the water's really warm. I've been dipping my toes in. But yeah, no, you guys are aware of like what Neuralink is, Elon
Yes.
Musk.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
dude.
hearing him talk about that, it's like, okay, the first generation's coming out now where it like helps allow people with cognitive disabilities to understand.
Yeah.
Let's say reading, to understand how to read, or something, something as simple as that. But eventually, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, people will be able to speak with each other telepathically. Like, you won't actually have to say anything.
Yeah.
And so Josie can speak Spanish, and I can speak French. Now we can speak together.
Yeah.
And without even moving our mouths, we can understand what each other's saying. I think that's kind of scary. That's pretty wild. And
Neuralink is the Tower of Babel.
Well,
That is it. There it is.
well, just to your point, I think like the connection part of that is pretty scary. In that regard. I'm not saying like the Neuralink is. I know.
No. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I also think about with the Neuralink stuff, it's I wonder, this is all just me being a nut, just sitting in my room listening to Elon Musk talk, just writing on the wall like a nutcase. But I think the thing that's really interesting about it is thinking that people who over time can't afford to like get Neuralink, you're creating a second class people.
Yeah.
Because these people who get Neuralink, it's like it can make you, I don't know, it can probably do things with your biology that would make you far more advanced. And it's like people who can't afford that, you're just stuck with your regular body. And it's like, it creates like subhuman class and all that stuff.
Man,
And
this is like literally sounds like dystopian books I used to read as like a teenager.
yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, like very Orwellian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very scary stuff.
It is weird. It's weird stuff, but it's also cool. It's exciting stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like some of that just kind of affirms the Bible. But I'll tell you what, the things that really freak me out are like geological markers of like the Euphrates River. Do you guys know what's going on in the Euphrates River right now? Do you guys have any idea?
it's emptying, right? It's like
Yes, it's drying.
Yeah,
And so,
that's the word I was looking for.
No, it's
It's empty.
Someone-
They're emptying it out
Someone's
bucket by
drinking
bucket.
it.
there's a team of 57 people
Yeah.
with buckets that have been pouring out.
My bad.
They've been emptying.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was there.
No, it's okay. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's been drying up for like the last, 5 years. Or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Crazy.
there's like footage of what it looked like in 2018, 19, 20, and it just is completely getting dry. And so they're finding all these cave systems underneath the Euphrates River. In Revelation, I believe it might be 12:4, talking about the drying of the Euphrates River. You looking it up? But make sure I'm not saying the wrong verse. But I do look to Revelation a little bit on like the end of the world stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And that kind of freaks me out a little
Yeah.
bit. Is that like the angels imprisoned under the Euphrates River?
Yeah.
And now that it's drying up, it's like
Yeah.
Pretty spook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's been fascinating to me to talk about, and I've talked with a lot of people about this recently, but is the whole thing with the red heifers in Israel.
In
That's-
Israel, yeah,
Dude, it's
right now.
trippy. Have you heard about that, Josie? So there's so in the Old Testament, this hasn't happened since the time of Moses, where they'd sacrifice red heifers. And so a red heifer is like an unblemished, perfect sacrifice, basically. And the thing is they would sacrifice these red heifers so that they could use their blood and ashes to basically clean off the tools and to like purify the workers and the tools that they would build to build the second temple at that time. And so right now there's like 7 or something like that in Israel, like perfect like red heifers, and they've built an altar to sacrifice a red heifer. And if they sacrifice it, that means that they're initiating the start of building the third temple, which is the beginning of everything like crashing down.
which is also very, very scary right now too, with everything going on in the Middle East. So it's like the entire movement right now of like the Muslim Brotherhood, and, like, the Caliphate right now, out that is encircling Israel.
Yeah.
It's like a known thing. If that does go down,
Yeah.
it is all out war.
Yeah, because they
Panic button, panic button.
yeah, because they know.
Yeah. Nightmare.
Yeah, because they know what'll happen. Like
Oh my
for
gosh.
people of the Islamic faith, that means because right now they have their holy like temple is built on top of the second temple. So that means if they're going to build the third temple, they're going to have to destroy the Islamic temple, which will be literally Armageddon, like worldwide.
Is anybody else jazzed up right now?
I'm sweating,
scary.
dude.
That's
Red Bull's
scary.
kicking in.
my right armpit is just soaked. So
You making fun of me, dude?
no, my right armpit is soaked.
My right armpit's the only one that sweats. That's what I thought you were
Really?
saying. Yeah, it's weird.
I've never talked to you about that
Okay,
before.
yeah. My right armpit, my left doesn't really sweat bad. The right gets soaked.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
Yeah, why?
Seinfeld.
What about you? What about? What's the deal? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, crazy
Do you?
stuff.
I mean, in that same vein, do you guys ever think about like? This is kind of a morbid question, but like, do you guys ever think about like the way you guys would meet your end ever?
Die.
Yeah, way to say that poetically.
I try not
The
to
way
think
you guys
about
would
it.
become unalive.
Just all these different ways of saying it.
Do you guys ever think about that? Like, this is the way you would prefer. This is the
Well,
way.
obviously, painless is like an old is what I would prefer.
Yeah.
You know,
I
get
wish
to
that's-
live my life and be
Hold it back.
not in pain. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I try not to think about it either because like biologically I don't know like what could happen to me because my dad's adopted and doesn't know his genetics, so like he doesn't even know what all of his like potential biological problems could be.
Right.
So like we don't know like what cancer, what heart disease is, what anything like that.
Yeah.
So I just try not to think about it because
Yeah.
you know So far, we're fine. So far, my dad's good.
Yeah.
I'm good. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep living.
Yeah, I think for me, I would like to think that I would die like a hero's death. Like, I would like to think that, actually. Like, that's how I would go by, like, I don't know, something heroic, but it probably will be my type 2 hypertension or whatever.
Oh my
I'm probably going to
gosh.
have a heart attack. That's probably
You
what
just
take
need
me
to
out.
learn how to
Relax.
put your stress down. Yeah.
I saw a video the other day of a guy that he was like a mechanic, and he
Mm-hmm.
fell into, like a conveyor belt of like chocolate taffy or something.
Oof.
He fell into that, and that's how he died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I just feel like that, like, I
That's
would,
how you want to go?
that's not how I want to go at all. But I just feel like that, like, ideally we want to, like, go out when we're old and like in our sleep or something. But it's like the way that we end up dying, it's like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really know. Some days we just wake up and, we fall in a chocolate tub of taffy. And so,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this though, because I'm about to go to South Carolina here, like in a week or whatever. And I was just thinking about like the different things that could go down or whatever, like the wildlife that could, take you out. And so like, and I was just thinking about like how dangerous like sharks are compared to crocodiles.
Especially right now.
So a cousin of mine just told me that like right now like sharks are migrating, like it's a problem in some places in Florida, and I know South Carolina's kind of close off the coast there. But I was thinking about that, and this is kind of a morbid thought again, but I was thinking like, if I had to choose between a shark and a crocodile,
Oh, dude.
what would I choose?
Oh, my
You guys-
gosh.
Crocodile.
No.
End it all.
Really?
Dude.
Yeah, 'cause a shark, you could
explain that.
live.
Why a crocodile, Josie?
Because I feel like a crocodile would just kill me, and I'd be done.
Okay, dude. Crocodiles have this thing called a death roll. So when you get attacked by a crocodile, what they'll do is they'll bite you and like hold on to you, and they literally like roll rapidly in the water.
Yeah.
So you're like being clamped down by teeth and drowned at the same time. And it's like, yeah, it's not like a quick. I mean, both of them would suck, but
Not a shark. I feel like too many people live from shark attacks.
Thank you. That's exactly
so
what
you
I...
want to die.
Yes.
No, if
If
you,
I'm gonna have something attack me like that, I
Really?
would choose death.
You could be in a
Actually,
movie. You could be the next Soul
I'm
Surfer
good.
or
if
whatever.
you had to die, like if it was like it's like either you're choosing death by crocodile or death by shark.
So both of them are
Crocodile.
Like you're
Still.
not making it out alive.
Both
Which
of them.
one do you feel like would be the one to go?
crocodile. I still feel like.
What about
Golly,
you, Nathan?
no, for sure, a shark. There's no way you're trying to get death rolled by a croc, dude.
I feel like
No.
I'm
Because
willing
a
to-
shark will bite into you and then it's gone. Once it realizes you're a human,
Yeah.
they don't want you.
So then you
so
just-
you're left
then
there
you
to
get to
just bleed out.
You get to just float and say, "Here I come, Jesus."
I would say the crocodile too, though. I would choose the croc.
Thank
You guys are wild.
But let me explain a little bit more because I
You're
kind
wild.
of am with Josie. You
Leave
said
it in the
something there.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah, leave it
You
in the
said something
comments.
there because I see way more interviews, I see way more movies, more shows about people that have survived shark attacks. I've never seen.
No. But this doesn't
I've
matter.
never-
No. This
I've
doesn't-
never seen a single thing
And
about
you're-
a crocodile survivor.
Listen,
I've never seen that.
But you just said both of them kill you. So that point is
Right.
out. You're dying both ways.
I guess the point, if there is any point that I'm trying to make there, is I feel like the crocodile is more effective in taking you out.
Agreed.
But in this situation, both of them.
Yeah,
kill
but
you.
sharks just take
Yes.
longer. I don't want to just. I
do,
don't
I
want to
do,
suffer.
I do agree. I think
You're
it's
going to suffer by a crocodile. I'm telling
Less.
you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll just wait. We'll wait till see. We'll wait to see if it happens.
how do you feel like a shark would take you out?
No, like you said, you would get bit, and you would literally at that point you're like, dang,
Bleeding
I'm about
out.
to bleed out.
Yeah.
So you're just in the water.
You're in
just,
pain. You
Yeah,
lost a
you're-
limb.
Yeah. But
I don't want to like.
But listen, if you're in a death roll of a crocodile, all your bones are getting broke and you're getting drowned.
Nah, it's just gonna grab me by my neck and I'm gonna go
No,
and out, lights out.
this is not what you think it is.
Okay.
I think a shark would do something very similar. Not a death roll, but I do think that sharks, they snip so much. I think that they would. I think the idea of a perfect is like they grab your neck, but I think a shark, if you look
The
at
idea
them
of getting
eat
snipped.
anything, they nip at it, man. They
Nipped.
bite. I've never seen a shark go right
That's
on
so
your
funny.
neck. You know, it's like that would be the perfect scenario where it's like boom. But I don't think a shark would be any better. I think you would probably end up drowning or bleeding to death underwater with a shark. And I think a crocodile, just where they tend to be in the world, it's so dark. It's like I feel like it would be over quickly, and you would be either knocked unconscious, drown. I feel like you would probably hit one of those two before you would be eaten to death. And I feel like with a shark, you would be eaten, very similar to a bear. I feel like you would be eaten to death.
Yeah, bears are scary too.
I feel like a shark, you would be aware of being eaten to death as you die way more than with a crocodile. So I'm with Josie.
Dude.
Jillian.
I mean, I love you guys. I respect you, but dude, I just think getting wrapped up.
Well, Caleb can let us know if he doesn't come back and he goes to heaven. We'll find out. We'll be like, so was it what you thought?
Yeah. I don't think it'll be like. I think it'll probably be a shark that gets me if I go to South Carolina because we'll be on the beach or whatever. So I mean,
dude, don't even say that. I'll be so sad if you get attacked by a shark, dude.
That's okay.
Don't even talk about that.
Yeah, it's okay. But I mean, in that same vein, like I try to not worry too much about it. Like
about death.
Yeah. We're all gonna die, so it's not that. It's just a thing. Yeah, like I would prefer to go out a little bit more peacefully than that, but I can't really control that.
Yeah,
can't really control that at all. Do you guys ever think about just like what it's like once we die? I feel like if you ask that to anyone, they'll have a different perspective on like what they imagine heaven looking like. Mm-hmm. Do you guys ever think about this, or at least imagine, like hopefully, this is what I hope heaven looks like? What do you guys think about? Josie, do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking about heaven because I grew up in a Mennonite church. And they basically tell you that when you go to heaven, like, you don't know your family anymore.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And that's, like, kind of traumatizing as a kid. Like, when you lose, like, a grandparent or something, it's like, well, when I go to heaven, they're not going to know me anyways.
Yeah.
And so, whenever I've thought about that, that makes me sad. But, I don't know. I just think about my pets being in heaven with me. R.I.P. Bo. Lucy dog.
Rib.
Even Donovan was talking about him earlier today, how he missed him. He's like, he's sleeping. And I'm like,
he is.
yeah, he's really sleeping. He's going to be sleeping for a long time. But, I just think of heaven just being different for every single person. I feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like when we go there, we're going to have, like, new life. I feel like we won't forget everything on earth. We'll remember it, but we won't remember it with, like, sadness because heaven's so perfect, you know? And so I feel like we'll get up there, live a whole new life. Like, we'll work with Jesus for, like, I don't know, be angels and stuff. I don't know how that works. But, and just, like, I don't know, just look down at the rest of our family. I like to believe that the Mennonites are wrong and that we will know people in heaven. Like, we will know each other. Yeah. But I don't know.
It's actually interesting because there's Jesus tells what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? When he tells stories that are, what is that word?
Parable?
Parable. Thank you.
Okay, I was like,
story.
Yeah. Anyway, so he would, there's a story, the parable of Lazarus and the rich man or whatever. So like when Lazarus is in heaven, he's actually explained as being sort of like comforted by Abraham. Right. And so obviously they recognize each other, and even the rich man who's in Hades like looks up and he recognizes who they are. Yeah. So I would wonder. I mean, I would think that there's you recognize who people are in heaven because that story kind of makes it. They seem to recognize each other there.
Yeah.
What do you think
about heaven?
Yeah. What do you like to imagine when Nathan imagines heaven?
Yeah.
What do you think about?
So it's kind of funny actually. I don't think much about heaven because my the tradition that, well, I'll just say it like this. So the way I think about it is heaven, our idea of heaven, like being that what you see kind of in movies and stuff, like this spiritual place and everything. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't know if that's like our eternal resting place, right? Like, because heaven, like in the beginning before sin entered the world, death wasn't even a thing. And God walked with mankind in the garden. And so the thinking is, for the way that I think about it and the way the tradition I come from talks about it, is actually eternity is going to be here on earth just without sin. So the resurrection will be here on earth, and we'll spend eternity here on earth like how it was intended to be at the beginning with the garden. And heaven, as we think about it in, I think like in movies and stuff, that's kind of a temporary place. I think that it's kind of like almost like a waiting room for that to happen. Because when you read Revelations, there's a part in it where it talks about the martyrs are talking to God and asking how much longer until like the world will receive judgment. So like even in heaven right now, the spirits are still waiting for something else, and I think it's the resurrection of bodies here on earth. So that more theological, but
let me ask
No,
you
that's
with that
good.
let me ask you with that real quick, because I know that there's a lot of theories
yeah, it's
behind
all
what you're talking about. I'd
completely.
like to know what you think. So
Yep.
there's some people that believe what you just said, right?
Yeah.
But they believe that like the day of resurrection will be that day, will be the day that like people will even receive judgment.
Yeah.
And so everyone that has died, so I'm just curious. So
Yeah.
to say that,
Yeah.
so I think along that line of thinking is like people would probably equate that to like purgatory kind of, like you're waiting,
sure.
or like
Sure.
like the slumber. It's like
Yep.
you die,
Yep.
but it could be thousands of years. Like let's say you died in like I don't know, like 1654.
Yeah.
Like you wake up
Yep.
and it could be like
Yep.
2024, and
Yeah.
that's the day of judgment or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it's literally like you fell asleep and woke up, and it's
Yep.
like been
You wouldn't
thousands
even
of
know.
years later.
Yeah,
So,
'cause-
is that what you're saying? Like
Yeah.
you kind of imagine.
Yeah,
that?
because scripture talks about, it says a couple things. Like first off, people who died are referred to as going into sleep, like sleepers. I think Paul talks about that in one of the epistles, that like referring to the sleepers. And then also there's a place where it talks about in scripture that no one has ascended into heaven except for he who's descended, which is Jesus. And so that would kind of make me wonder, like, okay, does that mean that we don't go into heaven when I don't know. Again, this is completely just me talking, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if people are, these are questions I have. Like, are people even in heaven right now? Or are people just sleeping?
I mean, I kind of believe in like the spiritual realm, not quite in the way like that you see like on TV, like ghost hunters
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But
right.
I definitely believe like there is like a spiritualness
Oh, yeah.
because of just like things that happen. So I have a hard time believing like that the spirits aren't resting somewhere for now.
No, I think so too. I do. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
How dare you? No, go ahead.
I do think that there is a spiritual realm. So I
Yeah.
hope that I definitely think that. And I think it would almost be unbiblical to think that there's not a spiritual realm, because
Yeah.
all over scripture there's talks of demons and all of that type of stuff.
I have had this conversation multiple times about exactly that right there. It's
Yeah.
like people that would deny that there's a supernatural aspect of like
Yeah.
Christianity. Well, it's like we are choosing to believe in this thing
Yeah.
that is in a lot of rights supernatural.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so it's like, how would you not
Well,
at least consider this being a possibility?
It's completely, our faith is, honestly, it's completely supernatural. And the
Yeah.
only thing that's not completely supernatural about it is Christ. Like,
Right.
the only reason we can even experience heaven or the spiritual realm of any sort is because our high priest, who's Christ, is currently, in some crazy way to think about, is physically seated in the
Yeah.
heavenly realms. And so it's like, he's our representative in the heavenly realms, and because of that, we get to experience the supernatural and everything.
So do you think when you pass on, do you think that you will just like wake up and it could be like the year 3041 or something? Is that and that's whenever the day of judgment is, we all experience that together? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think I had a conversation with my sister about this the other day, actually, and we were talking about how this might be way off, but we were talking about how when you go to sleep, when you're like, if the last thing that you do before you go to sleep is either read scripture or pray, or like you spend time with Jesus, for me, I found that my rest feels that much more restful. Like, versus when I get in bed and I'm scrolling through Instagram for 4 hours, I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like I got much rest. It's almost like, I think, because there's a concept of falling asleep in Christ. And I think that when those of us who are in Christ Jesus, when we die, it's almost like we're entering into that rest. And then you wake up in the morning and you're feeling refreshed and you're feeling alive because you're resting in Jesus, versus if you go to sleep again on Instagram for 4 hours, you wake up and you're like, ugh, just kind of feeling kind of crappy.
That's also part because screen time is not good for you before bed, because for your eyes, it's trying to digest all the colors and stuff. But
I mean,
So would you imagine, like, and I know you talked about, Josie, like you want to believe that your dogs are there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you imagine? I love the visual imagery. I'm a very like visual person. What would you imagine it looks like if someone?
I just feel like I kind of have the same idea of like heaven will come down, like, because at Taylor we were kind of taught a theory that I really like kind of felt was like true to me was where like heaven is a place, but it when the end times come or whatever and resurrection takes place, like heaven will come down back to earth, and earth will become the Garden of Eden again,
the kingdom
because
will be lowered.
Wow.
it'll come down to meet heaven, and heaven will be, or earth will be made perfect again.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I see it. So it's kind of similar to where it's like, okay, heaven's not like
Yep.
the end all be all. It eventually we will come to earth and like live as one. And that's why I feel like in heaven we're working, like we're doing something to like further the kingdom up there, whether it's like praying for people on earth or just worshiping God and like doing stuff up there to like just like work towards that, perfect earth.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I think, and I say all these things like really theologically or whatever, but when I think about heaven, one of the things that I think about is, man, to imagine that the loved ones that I've lost are currently up there experiencing Christ. Like, that's crazy for me to think about. Like, to think that my best friend who I loved, I grew up with, and I physically like embraced him and been present with him, that he is in the presence of Christ right now. That's like, whoa, that's crazy to think about.
Well, I try to think about all the people that, exactly. Like, not only friends, but like loved ones.
Yeah.
That, like my grandfather, well, both my grandparents have been dead a while. And, I was thinking about, I was having this conversation with my dad the other day. Like my mom passed a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I think about like that, we're talking about things that we hope, right?
Yeah.
I hope to, it just hit me the other day. Like what if it works this way, where you are reunited with your loved ones, or maybe even the lineage, like 5 generations, 6, 7, 8, 10, like whatever it is, generations up, people you never even knew. To be able, like I get goosebumps right now to imagine what that reunion must look like. Because her dad, my grandfather, had been dead like 10 years prior to her death.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all of her sisters are still living, her mother's still living, but I had this like, I hope so much that she was able to be reunited with her dad in that moment.
Yeah.
And that gives me so much like joy to think about.
That's
because
beautiful.
it's like, no, thanks, man. Like, like it really is.
Yeah.
It really like I not to just like go off on a bunch of what you said, rabbit trail, worm trail.
A worm trail.
Which one did you land on? Wormhole.
I think rabbit hole is where I ended it.
Wormhole. Okay, yeah, sure.
Rabbit hole.
Rabbit. yeah. Rabbit worm trail. But not to go off on that. But when I think about heaven, I really love the descriptors of like the fields of heaven. I love that so much. Like I say a lot, like if you've ever been to like Cades Cove down in like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, it's just like this valley of mountains, and in the middle of the valley, it's like these fields. And when you come there, when you enter into Cades Cove at like in the morning or in the evening, it's like this beautiful sunrise or sunset, and the way it hits these fields in the middle. That's what I imagine the fields of heaven look like, or I hope to imagine the fields of heaven. And I just imagine, I want to share this with you. Like I had this dream the other day about, like my mom and my grandma. My grandma's still alive, by the way, but it was in Cades Cove. And it's like, I was like 500 feet back just as an observer. I wasn't even a part of this. I was just observing this happen. And my mom, who's been passed for a couple years now, like my grandma was like seeing her for the first time, and I was behind. I was behind my mom, like 500 feet back, and I was seeing my grandmother's reaction to seeing my mom in like the fields of heaven. And it's like and obviously like some of this could just be us. It's like like you hope to see dogs. Like it could just be like what I hope to see in heaven.
Well,
but that was such a cool moment in my life. Like I like to imagine the reunion, and then also the visual imagery of what it looks like.
And stuff like that, I believe is like the supernatural. Like that's what I think. Like the spiritual realm. Like that's what I think. People in heaven and angels and stuff can do. Like I feel like they send us those types of things to just like comfort us, give us peace, because they know where they are. They know how it ends, and we don't yet. So I feel like those things happen. Like they're not just like coincidences. Like I feel like that was like a gift given to you. Like sometimes when I see like cardinals, my mom used to always be like, "Oh, cardinals were, my great grandparents. And so I'm like, well, those are still my great grandparents, walking around me.
Yeah. It's time for
Josie's Corner.
You carried away.
All right. So today I prepared siblings or dating. Have you guys ever played this game before?
I can assume what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Can you
So
explain the
basically,
rules?
there's this Instagram account that went viral, like honestly, a few years ago.
Okay.
Posting photos of either couples or siblings, but you can't tell if they're a couple or sibling.
Okay.
And so it's a game where you guess if they're dating or siblings.
Okay.
So kind of tests the theory of that you date people that you look like. Have you ever heard that
I've heard
theory?
that.
So apparently that's true in a lot of cases. So can you both see the screen?
Kind of.
Kind of? Good enough?
Yes. We'll
All
go
right.
with it.
So, first one. Are they siblings? And I don't know either because I haven't looked at any of these. I just pulled up the Instagram.
Oh, I just see something that gave it away.
I would
Yeah, don't
think-
look at the comments
No, no,
because
I'm not
they'll
looking
give
at
it
the
away.
comments.
I think that they're siblings.
Okay.
I think the way that they're holding, like they're not really holding each other, and
False.
I mean, his hand's there,
That's-
but sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I've played this game before. Some of the brothers are a little weird.
I feel like a lot of the ways that like girls hold guys in pictures today, it's like they put their arms in front of their stomachs or something.
So you're saying that they're
Siblings.
siblings.
If they're not siblings, they're not as like
Lovey-dovey,
lovey-dovey as
They're-
a lot of people.
They're dating.
I think they're siblings.
They're dating.
So Joe, you think that?
Yep.
Whoa!
Yeah.
They're
Dude, that
dating.
the hand placement from the fella is, yeah, that's not
All right. Next one. Siblings or dating?
siblings
Can't even see
immediately.
their face.
They're siblings. Yeah, they're siblings.
I feel like they just have the same hair.
I think they're. I feel like.
Yeah, they're
I think they're
siblings.
dating.
I feel like they're siblings.
Oh,
What is
go.
going on? Oh my
They just
God.
have the same hair. I feel like their faces
What
don't
gave
look
it
the
away
same.
though for you, Josie? How did you know that?
Their faces don't look the same to me.
I thought they did.
But like outside of the face thing, what?
Oh,
do
that's
you-
just what I went off of.
Huh.
Just the faces.
Okay, mine was also the way they were standing. I'm like,
And their
just
toes are
judging.
pointed to each other. If your toes are pointed to someone, that means you like them.
Interesting. Look at where my feet are towards Caleb.
Got a little bromance going on.
I'm gonna keep my feet up the rest of the episode.
I know these people, so I can't play this one.
These two
They're
are,
famous people,
They're,
so.
they're dating for sure.
I
they're,
would say they're dating
Yeah,
as well.
they're at a wedding.
Based
They're
off
dates.
of your philosophy, their toes or feet look like they face each other.
Yeah, they are dating.
Yep.
They're
Tell.
he's a famous YouTuber.
They're at a wedding too. They're like dating at a
Okay, siblings or dating.
Now I can,
This one's hard.
I'm gonna throw this out. If they are siblings, what's wrong with them?
Zoinks.
Because that's pretty weird.
Zoinks.
Pretty
They,
weird.
Golly, look at the smile. Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna hope that they're dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're
I'm
dating.
hoping
Dating.
that they're
I'm going
dating.
with dating.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? No.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's that.
Yeah, that's
I
not
would
good.
honestly say, Josie, out of every
that's
photo
a-
you've showed up to this point, that looks like the most they're in love together.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I get pretty close to my brothers, but not that close.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Do a
not
few
good.
more. Oh wait,
Harry Styles.
just random hairstyles.
I date him.
Yeah, me too. Okay, siblings are dating.
The mean side eye.
Let that one drop.
Okay, anyway.
They have the same eyes.
Same jawline too. Same chin. Again,
I think sibling.
she's holding his arm, so they're dating. They're dating.
Is that his
can't
arm
see
or
it.
her leg?
I don't know.
I think that's her leg.
No, I think that's his arm.
That looks like
No,
her
because
leg.
that's like her dress.
I'm
looks
gonna
like her
say.
leg.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I think siblings.
Siblings. I'm
Sibling.
with you. Actually, I'm switching.
What is going
Yep.
on in
This
the world?
game is hard, bruh.
Oh my
Sheesh.
gosh. Dating.
They need a 23andMe test.
Yeah.
Oh my
For
god.
real, they do look. Yeah, facial structures are very similar. Man.
Okay, we'll do like two more.
Okay.
What in the world?
This one doesn't. I don't know why this one strikes me. This one, even that how close their heads are. If they were siblings, this one wouldn't be weird. I think they're siblings.
I feel like there's a decent amount of space between them to make me think sibling.
Yeah, I think they're siblings.
But they don't look the same.
They sort of
They
do.
could be adopted.
They
or
just have
like
the
stepbrother.
same-
They could be stepbrother and stepsister.
I feel like they just have the same hair.
I think they're siblings.
What makes you think outside of the
I feel like they're dating.
Why?
Because look how much she's like leaning into him.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that.
Like
but
if
that's
I
what
was
mean,
taking a
that's-
picture with my brother, I would just like go like that. I wouldn't like put my arm around him.
Well, if they're close, I think they're siblings.
I think dating.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I don't know.
Dating.
Oh.
We'll do one more for fun. Donovan, just wait 1 second. All right, siblings or dating?
These are siblings.
Those
For
look like
sure.
Siblings.
These are
Come on
siblings.
now. Siblings.
Yeah. Oh, what? Dude? What the heck, bro? What kind of game is this?
That is siblings or
This is hard,
dating.
bro. Dang.
Well, that's
Hey,
all I've got for us today.
Good corner.
Thanks.
Thank
Josie.
you.
Good corner.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That was a good insight.
Yeah. Happy trees.
Happy trees.
Julep. Julep.